Hi, it's Tracy. I want to focus again on the close, specifically the importance of repeating needs back and utilizing the optional close. Now, going into this 5-minute piece, I'm going to assume that you are using our inquiry connection sheets, our visit planning sheets, so you're planning for your visits, your follow-up to visit connection sheets, and saying that. And what I mean here is that you are a sales professional who understands the importance of finding needs through lots of open-ended questions and building value. If you're not doing this, no matter how well I teach you to close, you're not going to be able to do it because my close is built around the prospect's needs. It's not about us, it's about them. So how can we demonstrate to them that we can meet their need? And then how do we get them to see the value in paying our market rate? So this is why I want to talk about your close. So whether you're on the phone or in person, after you have done your on-site visit experience or you've gone through your entire connection sheet on the phone, whether it was that initial inquiry call or you're on your follow-up to a visit trying to book the next step, or your follow-up to a visit number 2, again trying to book the next step, what I'd like you to do is whenever you're going for a close, I want you to focus on 2 things. 1, recapping or repeating the needs back that you heard in a counseling environment that's called mirroring. Remember, you cannot do this if you're not listening. You have to become an active listener, which means stop thinking about selling so much, or if they can afford it, or if this is a hot lead or warm lead, and just do what's right by people. Listen, they called you for a reason. They're a hot lead and they will tell you how to sell them if you listen. So as you're talking to people and you hear hot buttons, things that are very important, circle those on your notes because these are buttons you want to come back and push when you're recapping. And also by listening, they're automatically going to come to mind, but by looking at your notes, you'll be able to recap even with more confidence because it's right in front of you. So when you recap, you're going to transition into your close by saying something like, so based on what you've told me, and then you're going to recap. It sounds like the reason that you and your husband are looking to make a move is that your house is just really become overwhelming, mainly the yard. You're very worried about your husband out there trying to, in the winter, shovel all the snow. He already had a fall last winter, which really scared you, and I'm glad he was safe, but you're really concerned about the ice and the snow coming up. Plus driving, you said your sight's not what it used to be, and that you're very nervous about driving like you used to in the weather. Is that correct? And they'll say, yes, oh, and then they usually add stuff, oh, yes, and, he gets that snow plow out, and it's just so dangerous, so let them talk. And then say, now, something else that you mentioned was really important to you, and I know the importance of downsizing and having not so much maintenance with the house, but you also mentioned that, a number of your friends have either moved away, been widowed, or passed, and that you've noticed you're not socializing at the level you used to, and that was a concern. Is that correct? Yes. And they'll say yes, and they'll kind of expand on that, or they may just say yes, and then you say, and lastly, you had mentioned that what's very important to you is that you have a 2-bedroom apartment because you're downsizing from a 4-bedroom house and you need an ample amount of space. So, and they'll say yes. So it's always good if you have 3 needs as you're recapping minimally. There's something about the power of 3. Now they may engage, they may be listening and just going, They may engage. So whatever they do, let them do it, but you're recapping. What's happening as you're recapping is you're building value. It's like, you'll feel it building because they're going, yes, yes, that's right. And they're just like so excited that somebody actually listened to them. Because I'll tell you, if you've done mystery shopping, people aren't listening. So you're demonstrating that you're connecting, you're listening, that they're important to you, you're showing you have service, you're compassionate, you have concern, you're empathetic, and this is what they want in the people that they're going to be living with. So once you get confirmation and you kind of state that last thing, don't hesitate. Don't go, just You say so, and the last thing that you'd mentioned to me was that socialization is very important, and that the apartment size, that you have ample room because you've come from a larger home and you're looking for at least a 2-bedroom, if not maybe a little bit larger. What I'd like to do, Mrs. Smith, is go ahead and talk about 2 apartments that we looked at today, because I'm just going to tell you the 2 bedrooms do go faster than the 1 bedrooms, and I'd like to square away the one that you really like the most. And I saw the sparkle in your eye on 204 because it had a beautiful view, and discuss what needs to happen to get that held for you today. So would you like to go back and look at the apartments a couple more times, or do you feel comfortable enough to go ahead and put a deposit down to hold that apartment? And then we can discuss move-in dates and your timeline and so on. Which might work best for you? So now keep in mind, this isn't a real sales environment. We're all more comfortable when it's an actual situation. I'm just trying to role play out a scenario or so. So after you recap, you go right into your optional close. And a really good one that you might want to start with is, do you have any questions, or would you like to go ahead and put a deposit down to hold the apartment today? And then we can start talking about the move-in process and what's involved in that. So if you have to, replay this, write that down, and start using that today. Do you have any more questions that I can answer for you? Or would you like to go ahead and put the deposit down to hold the apartment, because I know you really liked it, and that way we get a hold on it, and we can start talking about kind of the action step or game plan as far as what needs to happen to get your move-in set up. And you get them excited that way. And then what you want to do is be quiet and let them tell you. Don't get nervous, feel confident. If you pre-planned for your visit and you blew them away, odds are you're going to need a deposit. And if you don't, in your follow-up, your 1, 2, 3 follow-up, your same-day follow-up call, your handwritten thank you note, your follow-up to visit sheet, you're going to get it. It's just a matter of time. And the sooner you build the value, the sooner you'll get your deposit. So utilize recapping needs and your optional close whenever you're trying to book a tour or the next action step. This works. It'll increase your conversion by about another 15% from where it is now. So think about it. If you're at 60% right now, you could be at 75% inquiry to tour by the end of the week. And if you're at, say, a 35% visit to move in or visit to deposit, you could be at 50% by the end of the week. You can change this conversion and start seeing results with this today. All right, so I'm excited for you. Keep me posted on my Fanbook page on my website as to how these tools are working for you. I'll see you tomorrow.